Today we are going to be watching Fisherman Explained. He's basically fully an AI generated slot.
Let's kick things off with the big one that's reshaping tackle boxes across America. Lead fishing tackle is disappearing from store shelves faster than you might
Yes, lead. Very good English.
think. And it's not just some environmental trend. 6 states have already implemented strict lead tackle bans, with more following suit every year.
Again with the lead.
The restrictions are laser focused on specific sizes, typically targeting sinkers and jigs weighing 1 ounce or less. New Hampshire led the charge back in 2000, becoming the first state to ban lead fishing tackle in all freshwater. Their law is crystal clear: any lead sinker or jig weighing 1 ounce or less is completely prohibited. Maine took a different approach, banning lead sinkers that don't meet specific length and weight requirements. If your sinker is shorter than 2.5 inches or weighs less than 1 ounce and contains any amount of lead, it's illegal. The reason behind these bans isn't what most anglers expect. It's not about water contamination or soil pollution. The primary driver is common loon mortality. These magnificent birds mistake small lead sinkers for the pebbles they nab.
How do you explain a loon right, but you can't say lead?
Naturally ingest to aid digestion. When loons swallow lead tackle, it causes fatal lead poisoning.
Now he says lead.
Research shows that ingested lead fishing tackle is now the leading cause of death for adult common loons, with approximately 4,500 adults directly threatened across affected states.
We all love a great story. It can simplify and make sense of the complex, so we see things more clearly.
New York joined the movement in 2004, prohibiting the sale of lead sinkers weighing half an ounce or less. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service escalated things dramatically in 2023, announcing comprehensive lead tackle prohibitions throughout multiple national wildlife refuges. What started as a state-by-state issue is rapidly becoming a federal concern. Now here's where things get interesting with tournament fishing. The umbrella rig, also known as the Alabama rig, represents one of the most controversial pieces of tackle in modern fishing. This multi-armed contraption looks like a small school of bait fish swimming together, and it's devastatingly effective. That effectiveness is exactly why it's banned in major tournaments. Both BASS and FLW Outdoors, the 2 largest tournament organizations in the industry, have completely banned umbrella rigs from their competitions. Tournament officials didn't mince words about their reasoning. These lures are simply too effective,
He hasn't gotten
eliminating
stuff
much
wrong
of the
for a
skill
while.
traditionally required in competitive fishing. When fish are finicky and won't bite anything else, the umbrella rig can still entice strikes with almost unfair consistency. State regulations add another layer of complexity. Minnesota law creates particular challenges for umbrella rig users by treating artificial lures the same as hooks. Since their regulations prohibit fishing with 2 or more hooks on a single line, umbrella rigs become illegal by default. Other states allow them for recreational fishing but maintain tournament restrictions. Moving into truly destructive territory, blast fishing represents one of the most environmentally devastating banned practices worldwide. Also called dynamite fishing or bomb fishing, this method involves throwing explosives into the water to kill large numbers of fish quickly and cheaply. The explosion...
So we went from tournaments to explosions. Don't see how that's anywhere related, but whatever.
send shockwaves through the water that stun or kill fish while rupturing their swim bladders. The numbers are staggering. One 1999 report estimated that 70,000 fishermen in the Philippines, representing 12% of the country's total fishing workforce, engaged in blast fishing despite it being outlawed. Tanzania provides an even more disturbing example, where blast fishing peaked in the 2010s with an estimated 50,000 to 70,000 blasts per year. The practice first gained popularity in Tanzania during the 1960s, was officially outlawed in 1970, but continues thriving because it's cheaper and vastly more productive than traditional methods like basket traps and hook and line fishing. One bottle bomb can kill everything within 30 to 100 feet of the blast, making it incredibly efficient from a short-term perspective. If you're finding this breakdown helpful and want to make sure you never accidentally break fishing regulations, hit that subscribe button, because we're covering even more banned items that might surprise you. The environmental destruction extends far beyond the immediate fish kill. Blast fishing destroys coral reefs, which serve as nurseries and feeding grounds for countless marine species. Each explosion reduces complex reef ecosystems to rubble, eliminating habitat that took decades or centuries to develop. But the destruction doesn't stop at coral reefs. Legitimate fishermen report dramatic declines in their catches following blast fishing incidents in their areas. The shock waves don't discriminate between target species and everything else in the blast radius. Juvenile fish, breeding adults, and entire food chains get wiped out in seconds. Enforcement remains a massive challenge. Extensive coastlines are nearly impossible to patrol effectively, and the lucrative nature of blast fishing creates strong incentives for corruption. In many regions, officials either lack the resources to stop the practice or turn a blind eye due to bribes or political pressure. Cyanide fishing presents another chemical nightmare that's banned across most of Southeast Asia.
Okay, now we're using cyanide to blow up the fishies or make them sick, probably.
Though enforcement varies dramatically. This practice began in the 1960s Philippines as a method to capture live reef fish for the aquarium trade, a market now worth approximately $200 million annually. Divers crush cyanide tablets into plastic bottles filled with seawater, then squirt this
So we're gassing the fishies.
toxic mixture directly onto coral reefs to stun fish. The cyanide method expanded beyond aquarium collection into the restaurant trade, particularly supplying high-end establishments in Hong Kong and Singapore with live fish. What makes this practice especially insidious is how it affects both immediate targets and long-term ecosystem health. Research reveals that aquarium fish exposed to cyanide develop cancer within a year of purchase. The chemical doesn't just stun fish temporarily. It causes lasting physiological damage that often proves fatal. For every fish successfully captured using cyanide, researchers estimate that 1 square meter of coral reef gets destroyed in the process. The cumulative impact is staggering. Scientists estimate that more than 1 million kilograms of cyanide have been squirted onto Philippine reefs alone over the past 50 years. Some of the world's most productive reef systems have been reduced to underwater wastelands through this practice. Drift nets represent another category of banned fishing gear with a complex international history. The United Nations implemented a comprehensive moratorium on drift net fishing in 1989, followed by a complete ban on nets longer than 2.5 kilometers in international waters by 1992.
Who's using a net that's 2 kilometers wide?
These restrictions came after decades of devastating bycatch that earned drift nets the nickname walls of death. Before the 1960s, net length faced no restrictions, and
I've never heard someone calling that walls of death.
commercially produced nets commonly stretched 50 kilometers. The scale of these operations was mind-boggling.
Oh, so now we're using nets that are 50 kilometers wide.
Imagine nearly invisible nets spanning the distance between major cities, hanging in the ocean like underwater curtains of destruction. The United States took action in 1987 with the Drift Net Impact Monitoring Assessment and Control Act, limiting net length in American waters to 1.5 nautical miles. But even these shortened nets proved problematic. The California drift gillnet fishery targeting swordfish and sharks became notorious for its deadly bycatch rates. The truth is, fishing regulations exist for good reasons, whether it's protecting wildlife like common loons from lead poisoning or
No, really? I thought we were just doing it to make fishing hard.
preserving coral reefs from chemical destruction. Before your next fishing trip, take 5 minutes to check your local regulations and inspect your tackle box. A little preparation now.
Or, if you don't know what it is, just maybe don't use it. That makes more sense. Okay, thank you for watching the video. It would be very helpful if you liked and subscribed. And ring that little bell so you don't miss another video. Peace out.